Hello students, welcome back to my channel Focus and Flow. Now I am going to discuss the next topic which is types of chemical reaction. Chemical reaction के अलग अलग टाइप होते हैं जैसे combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction and the redox reaction. तो हमारे पास पहले जो टाइप है वो है combination reaction. अब ये combination reaction होता क्या है? What is a combination reaction? A combination reaction is a chemical reaction where two or more elements or compounds combine to form a single product. दो या दो से ज्यादा रिएक्टेंट एक दूसरे के साथ कंबाइन होके जो प्रोडक्ट फॉर्म होते हैं उसे कॉम्बिनेशन रिएक्शन कहते हैं. So A and B are the two reactants that combine together and form a single product that is your combination reaction. For example, you can see formation of slackline. In here, calcium oxide react with water. These are the two reactants. They combine together and form calcium hydroxide. Now, how the slackline is produced? How the slackline is formed? Okay, when water is added to the solid quicklime, this is a quicklime. When water is added to this quicklime, the reaction produces so much heat that it can cause the water to boil. Okay, and steam. Ultimately, it transforms into a white dry powder which is called your slackline. This is the slackline. Okay, it is white in color, white dry powder, which is your slackline. Powder. Next one is the burning of coal. Coal is a black color sedimentary rock, mostly composed of carbon. When carbon present in coal gets completely burned, okay, in presence of adequate oxygen, it converts to carbon dioxide. This is a combination reaction. You see carbon and oxygen are the two reactants. They combine together and form carbon dioxide gas. Same way in the case of formation of water, hydrogen and oxygen, they combine together and form water. Next is your decomposition reaction. What is the decomposition reaction? A chemical reaction where a single reactant breaks down into two or more simpler product that is called your decomposition reaction. That means एक रिएक्टेंट जब टूट टूट के जो सिंपल प्रोडक्ट बनते हैं उसे डिकम्पोजिशन रिएक्शन कहते हैं. ए दिस इज अ रिएक्टेंट, इट ब्रेक्स डाउन टू बी एंड सी व्हिच इज अ प्रोडक्ट. डिकम्पोजिशन रिएक्शन तीन प्रकार के होते हैं. इट इज ऑफ थ्री टाइप्स: thermal decomposition, photolytic decomposition, and electrolytic decomposition. Now, what is a thermal decomposition? When decomposition reaction is carried out by heating is called thermal decomposition. Now, how thermal decomposition reaction takes place? It takes place by heating. Okay, this reaction is carried out by heating. For example, this is your example number 1. This is your example number 2. For example, you see ferrous sulfate. Now, ferrous sulfate का decomposition होता है जब heat provide करते हैं. जब हम heat provide करते हैं तब तीन प्रोडक्ट में ब्रेकडाउन होते हैं. दैट इज फेरिक ऑक्साइड, सल्फर डाइऑक्साइड एंड सल्फर ट्राइऑक्साइड. Okay, it breaks down into three products: ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Ferrous sulfate के कलर ग्रीनिश होते हैं जब वो वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन के फॉर्म में एग्जिस्ट होते हैं. When it is in the form of water of crystallization. इसका actual formula is FeSO4 7H2O. This is the actual formula, which is called your hydrated ferrous sulfate. It is a hydrated. This is a hydrated ferrous sulfate. Okay. Now, upon gentle heat, when we heat this hydrated ferrous sulfate, upon gentle heat, it loses its water of crystallization to become anhydrous. From hydrated, it becomes anhydrous. Anhydrous ferrous sulfate. Okay, whose color changes to from green color this is the green color. Hydrogen is green color. From green color, it changes to white in color. Again, when you hit the anhydrous ferrous sulfate on strong heating, the white anhydrous ferrous sulfate breaks down into a reddish brown solid residue of ferric oxide. This is a reddish brown color, along with a mixture of sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Okay, next one. Next one, you see here on heating, when we heat calcium carbonate, that is the limestone, to high temperature. When you heat calcium carbonate to a very high temperature, it decomposes to calcium oxide, which is called a quicklime, and carbon dioxide gas. Next one is the electrolytic decomposition. It is also called your electrolysis of water. The electrolysis of water is a decomposition reaction in which an electric current is passed through water to break down into its constituent element, that is hydrogen and oxygen. In this type of reaction, the electrolytic decomposition, electricity is passed. Okay, this decomposition takes place on passing electricity. Now, when electricity is passed in water, it breaks down to hydrogen and oxygen. It breaks down to hydrogen and oxygen. Next one is of photolytic decomposition. Now, what happens in the photolytic decomposition? It is a chemical reaction where single compounds break down into simpler substance by absorbing energy from sunlight. Okay? It takes place by passing sunlight. Okay. For example, you can see when white color silver chloride. Now, when this white color silver chloride is white in color, when white color silver chloride is exposed to sunlight, it absorbs light, energy, and decomposes to silver gray metal. Okay, silver gray color silver metal and yellow green chlorine gas is formed. This is about photolytic decomposition. Next topic is about displacement reaction. What is the displacement reaction? What happens in a displacement reaction? In displacement reaction, more reactive elements will displace the less reactive elements from its compound. In displacement reaction, more reactive elements will displace the less reactive elements from its compound. Definition के बारे में अगर बात करें, the reaction in which more reactive elements displaces less reactive elements from its compound or solution is called displacement reaction. For example, you can see in the picture, when iron nail is dipped in a blue copper sulfate solution, the more reactive iron displaces the copper. This is the iron nail which is dipped in a blue color copper sulfate solution. This is a blue color copper sulfate solution. Okay, now iron will displace the copper. Iron will displace the copper and take its place because iron is more reactive. Now, what we'll observe in this experiment, we'll observe that the blue color copper sulfate solution will turn green in color, which is your iron sulfate, and copper metal coats the nail. In the nail, the coating of copper metal will left behind. So this is the chemical equation. The iron is a solid substance. Copper sulfate solution is an aqueous solution. Aqueous. FeSO4 is also aqueous. Iron sulfate, aqueous. Copper, it is the Cu is a solid substance. Next, double displacement reaction. What happened in a double displacement reaction? Two compound reacts and their positive and negative ion switch places to form two new products. Okay. This is the equation you can see. As we come to the definition, the reaction in which two compounds react by exchange of ion. Okay, how does react? By exchange of ion. Exchange of ion take place in the displacement reaction, and it's from two new compounds. Okay, when the exchange of ion take place, it's formed two new compounds. That is called a double displacement reaction. For example, you can see sodium sulfate, NaSO4. Is there sodium sulfate, Na2SO4. Sodium sulfate solution is mixed with barium chloride, BaCl2. Sodium sulfate solution mixed with barium chloride and it's formed barium sulfate and sodium chloride. This is the barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Again, I'm repeating. Sodium sulfate solution is mixed with barium chloride and it's formed barium sulfate and sodium chloride. Now let's come to the explanation part. Now, sodium sulfate, the positive and negative ions of sodium sulfate are sodium ion and sulfate ion. The positive and negative ion of sodium sulfate is sodium ion. Positive ion is the sodium ion and the negative ion is the sulfate ion. Okay, this is the positive ion and sulfate ion is the negative ion. Same way, the positive and negative ion of barium chloride. Positive and negative ion of barium chloride. The positive ion of barium chloride is barium ion, that is Ba2 plus. This is the barium ion, and negative ion is the chloride ion. This is the negative ion. This is the chloride ion. Okay. Now what will happen? Now already I have told you the positive and negative ion of sodium sulfate is sodium ion and negative is your sulfate ion, which is called your cation. Positive ion is called your anion. Same way, the positive and negative ion of barium chloride is barium ion. Positive ion is the barium ion and negative ion is the chloride ion. The positive and negative ion of both the compound switch places. Now you see the positive and negative ion of both the compound will switch places. To switch their places. Sodium will combine with chlorine. Sodium will combine with chlorine and it will form sodium chloride. It will form same way barium ion will combine with sulfate ion. It will form barium sulfate. Okay, barium ion will combine with sulfate ion. It will form barium sulfate. Same way, sodium ion will combine with chloride ion. It will form sodium chloride. So this is the exact equation, chemical equation. So today I have discussed about this 4 type of reaction. Next class I will discuss about, in the next video I will discuss about the redox reaction. So this is for today's video. Thank you.